Hello learners, here is the new video tutorials of language fundamentals. In this video we will learn type of variables. That means how many type of variables are found in the Java. Let's see how many types of variables are found in Java. So the variables are categorized in two categories. The variables are categorized by the values they represent. So in the category 1, there are two types of variables. First is the primitive variable, which represent the primitive values, and reference variable, which is reference object value. The category 2. In this category, there are three types of variables are categorized. First is the instance variable. Second is the static variable, and third one is the local variable. So we will discuss in details these all five types of variables. So let's talk about the category 1. So the primitive variables. Primitive variables can be used to represent the primitive values such as int x is equal to 0, int x is equal to 100. Reference variable. The reference variable can be used to refer the objects, such as we create an object of a student class. Student s is equal to new student. So s is the reference variable. S is the reference variable for the student class. Let's move on the next category. Category 2. Based on the behavior, the variables are three types. So one by one we will discuss in detail these all three types of variables. So in starting, first we discuss the instance variable. So here we will discuss the instance variable. The instance variables are variables which is declared within the class but outside of any method, block or constructor. So here the place where we declare the instance variable. So instance variable, how we create. So let's take an example of a student. So let's create a variable of roll number, and then create the variable of name, string name. These are the two variables which refer to an object. So how we can use this variable within the main method? So there are two methods. Use this two variable. So method just create the object of this class. Hello world, create a student s is equal to new hello world. So this is the object creation, and if we want to use this out system.out.println, if we want to print roll number plus name. So to print this name and roll number, s dot roll number and s dot name. So this is the method to use the instance variable in the main method. So if we run this program, so this will print so 0 and null. 0. Why this is printing 0 and null? Because we are declaring the variable, but we didn't initialize it. So JVM by default initialized the int variable to 0 and the string variable to null. That's why here it is printed roll number is 0 and the name is null. So if we give the name roll number is 103 and the name is equal to Rudra, then let's see what it will And if you want to, without reference variable, you cannot use the instance variable. Okay? Cannot make a static reference to the non-static field because these are not static variables. These are the instance variable. So why this is called the instance variable? Because these values of this variables are changed with object to object. If one object has the roll number 103 and the name Rudra, then the other object has the roll number of 4 and 105 and the name will be different. So called is Sonam. So 1 minute. So each object having the different values of roll number and name. So such type of variables are called as the instance variable. And when object is created, then the instance variables are created. And when object is destroyed, the instance variable are also destroyed. So the scope of the instance variables are the same as the object, same as the scope of the object. And the instance variables are stored in the heap memory, the part of the object. So you cannot use these variables directly in the main method. But if you create a method, right, public void m1 and roll number plus name, and here method call, and this method is called from here. So you can see if method is called, then this variables directly can be used because this is not the static method. So in the main method, we cannot directly access the instance variable because this is the static area and this is the non-static variables. So we cannot refer the non-static variable for the static from the static area, but we can access it by the object reference. So you can see here the object reference we have created, and this object is make this variable accessible. Let's take another example. Int x double t string s and boolean p. If we want to print these values, this dot out dot println print s dot x plus s dot d plus plus s dot b plus s dot x. If we so these are the variables we have directly printed here by using the object reference. So just run this. So here you can see the null is for the string and 0.0 is for the double, and the false for the boolean and 0 for the int value. So the JVM is defaultly so JVM initialized these variable by the default value. It is the duty of JVM to automatically initialized them. And the instance variables are also known as the object level variables because we are accessing these variables by using the object reference. Next variables called the static variables. So the static variables, so the value which is not varied from object to object, and this type of variables are called the static variables. Suppose in the previous example we have taken the student's roll number and name, and the college name is not changed by the student name and roll number. A static string call name, college name. So we can use it directly, college name, and if we run this, null. Why this is null? Because we didn't initialize the variable. So the same as the instance variable, the static variables also initialized by the default value by the JVM. So if we declare call in double quotes like this and run this, let's check and pick it. So we initialize the static variable and it can be used directly, and the value of the static variables is not changed to the object to object. That's why this is called the static variables. And these are the class level variables by using the modifier of static modifier. And same as the instance variable, the static variables are also created within the class but outside of the method, block, or constructor. The scope of the static variables: when the class is loading, the static variables are created, but at the time of class unloading, the static variables are destroyed. So the scope of the static variables are same as the scope of the .class file, and the static variables are stored in the method area. So if you are using the static variable within the static context, so you can use directly, but recommended format, just create the class name hello world dot. This is the recommended method to call the static variables bit, because it's increase the readability of the program, and same result is provided as previous. But whenever other programmer will read the program, will understand this is the static variable. So this is the recommended method. You can also call this by creating the object. So here you create a new object of hello world. So you can also call this variable by using the, this is the warning but not error. So just run it. Okay, sorry, here semicolon is not inserted. So this is the output St. Peter's, same as the previous, but it is not the recommended method to call the static variables. Always create the class name. So here just called hello world, and this is the recommended method to call the static variables. So we can the static variables from the static and non-static areas. For example, this is the static area main method. So here we can use it directly and just create public void m1 sysout all. You can use directly, but if you using this main method, if you are call this main method, this m1 method, from this you have to create the object for this class. So s dot m1. Okay, now let's run this program. Let's change, differentiate. This is the method call. Just run. So this St. Peters is from the main method, and this St. Peters from the method. So you can use the static variable from the statics and non-static areas as well. Let's take an example of int x is equal to 10, static int y is equal to 20. Now create first object s1 is equal to new hello world s1 dot x. S1 dot x is equal to triple line. S1 dot y is equal to triple eight. Let's create the second object. Hello world S2 is equal to new hello world S2 dot this out S2 dot x plus S2 dot y. What will be the value of just create plus? What would be the value of y? X. So let's check. 10 or triple eight. Why this is 10? Why this is triple eight? Because when you create one object and you assign s1 dot y is equal to triple eight, so in the static value of y, this triple eight is stored, and this won't be recreate when you create the second object, because it's create at the class level. In the class level, when class is created, it is 20, and after creating the object, it reassigned by the triple eight. But when we create a new object, new copy of this variable is generated. So if we assign x is equal to triple line, but when we create a new object, this will create a new copy of int x is equal to 10. So when we printed s2.x, it will print the new value of x of 10. And s2y is not created, so the value of y we have previously assigned triple eight, so triple eight is created. So if we make it static, then what will be the answer? Triple line, triple eight. So for this object, there is no separate copy of these variables generated. So in the this object, we have reassigned the value of x and y. So for this object, the new variable is not created. So the previous value is triple eight and triple line is stored. So you can understand the difference between the instance or static variables. In instance variable, the separate copy of instance variable is generated for each and every object, but the static variables are generated at the class level, and for each object the value of the static variables are same. Let's move on the local variable. The local variables are created while the executions of a block in which we declare it. Once the block execution completed, automatically local variable will be destroyed. Hence, the scope of the local variable is same as the scope of the block in which we declared it. So let's take the example. For int I equal to 0, I is less than 3, I plus plus. And there is one variable is created, int j is equal to 0. J is equal to j plus I. What is the value of j and I? Let's print j plus plus s plus I. So here error is shown because the scope of this I is within this block, and we cannot use this I variable outside of this block. If we want to use the I, we need to use it inside of this block, this for loop, and I is not used in here. If we run this program, it will showing the error. Resolve the variable because this variable is not declared here. And let's take the another example to try int j is equal to integer dot parseInt. Integer dot parseInt equal to 10. Now just add the catch block number format exception.
If you like, please subscribe my channel and share my video. Please comment feedback.
Number format exception j is equal to 10 without j. So why this is showing the error? Just run the program. Just save it and run this. So the same j cannot be resolved. So here j is initialized in the try block, and this j is unknown for this class catch block. So this is the local variable for this try catch, and this is unknown for this block because we have created the local variable j within this block, and this is not recognize this j, and that's why we cannot print the j outside of this try block. You can easily understand if we initialize or declare this local variable within this try block, so you can use it within this block only. You cannot use this j variable outside of this try or catch block. Let's take another example for better understanding. Int if args dot length is greater than 0, then x is equal to 10. Else, let's run this program. So guys, it will showing the runtime exception. Why this is running? Because we are not using the x. If we print this x, so here showing the error, x may not have initialized. So in the instance or static variable, JVM is initialized is automatically by the default value, but in the local variable, JVM is not initialized the variable, so it will declared and initialized explicitly by the programmer. And if we put here else x is equal to 20, then it will run the program, because each time one of these condition is fulfilled. So let's run 20 because we didn't any give the command line argument, so that's why it's printed 20. The applicable modifier for the local variable is only final, because we cannot change them. If you are using other modifier than the final, you will get the compile time. That's enough for today. We will meet in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe my video. If you are new, please subscribe my channel. Please comment and